Hey guys, how's it going? Lots of familiar faces. Thank you for coming. Also lots of new faces. So thank you for coming down tonight, and for Emma for arranging this and for involving me. But I just want to say thank you very much, and I'm really grateful you're here, and hopefully you learn some things tonight. Literally send me a message or chat to me after. I'm gonna give some very general advice from what I've seen. But if you have any specific queries about your business or anything like that, you can take this stuff away and think about it, and then message me, and I can try help you to implement some stuff or talk to you more. So who in here runs a business? Okay. Who here is just a creator or aspiring creator? Okay. And who here just works for a normal company and does marketing within a normal company, doesn't own it? Yeah. Okay. So we got a mix of people here today. So yeah, literally for anyone who, whether you own a business or you work for a business, literally chat to me after, send me a message, and I'll happily try answer questions for you. And if you have any really tough questions, I'll run out the door before I can answer them, so we're all good. But there's a really important question we have to answer today, and that is, who is this guy on the stage? So a lot of you have maybe never seen me before or heard about what I do before, but I'm in a suit and I'm standing at the front of the stage, so anything I say becomes instantly more authoritative that way. So my name is Matt Stevenson, and if you've never heard of me before, I've been making stuff on the internet for about the past 10 years, but over the past 3 years, I've been really honing in on social media. So more specifically, kind of building, learning, testing, experimenting, video, everything like that. I have an audience of just over 35,000 people and over 25 million views in a couple of different areas. It's all been organic, and it's all just been through just trying, learning, testing, experimenting, see what works, see what doesn't work. And before that, actually, back in October 2020, my first proper project that got notable was called Support Local NI. It was during the circuit breaker lockdown, whenever everything was reclosed. It was a free website. It was for local businesses. It was a tech for good project. It was to try help people. It was to test my skills. And that's all to sound impressive. It was actually just because I was bored after work. And I thought, I can try something, test something. And it did a little bit more than I thought it would do. So it was only live for 3 or 4 months, and it was used by 150,000 people across the UK, mainly here in Northern Ireland. It featured in over 30 UK newspapers, the radio. I had a billboard campaign across Belfast the entire Christmas that year. I was on the news. I actually remember sitting with my parents, waiting for that to come on, and it was just the most amazing feeling. First of all, we thought we'd been bumped from the news because it was 6:29 and we were the last story. But what was amazing about that was it showed me that whenever you create something and you put something out there, you can actually have impact. These helped businesses. This site was just something I did in about a week outside of work, and all these papers and people helped me promote it. But it actually generated thousands, if not tens of thousands of clicks and new business over that Christmas period. But the most impressive thing I thought was, in the Belfast Telegraph, I said, you're not giving your money to the richest man in the world, you're giving it to the people of Northern Ireland. And I think I slowed Amazon orders that day down from maybe 400,000 a day to 399,990, something like that. But Jeff Bezos, I put you in your place right there. So I'll always have that over you. Just saying, pretty big achievement for me. The weirdest thing that happened as a result of that was, there's a stock image selling a picture of me, like a stock image site. So this is, if you look here, that outfit and that street, that's the same street. So as I did the TV interview, they had a reporter. They said, can I take a picture of you? I said, okay, I don't know where this is gonna go. And then someone sent this to me. They're selling it for 15 quid. So I don't make money from this. I didn't know this was happening. I just got sent this link. So if anyone runs a business and wants a stock image of a guy in the street, feel free to use it. Or meet me outside, take a picture of me tonight, give me 15 quid, and we can cut out the middleman. Forget this guy. But again, it just goes to show some of the weird stuff that happens as a result of putting yourself out there. And anyone who's a creator in the room will know exactly what I mean by what can kind of happen. But my accounts I run, one's in the fitness niche, so it's pretty much where all my experimentation happened. It's got over 10 million views, and I've tested pretty much everything I'll tell you tonight. We're sharing all secrets tonight, all strategies, all tips. Every single thing I've done that's boosted views on an account, I'll talk about it tonight. And then the most recent account is from December 2023. It's called Food Featured. Those screenshots are even out of date now. And I took this yesterday, so they're up a couple of hundred. So it's growing fast. It's one of the fastest growing and biggest marketing platforms in the country for food businesses. So it's kind of like my website, but on social media. So it has just under 10 million views in the last 5 months. And I last did a presentation and showed these in February. So in the last 2 months, these accounts have both doubled. So it goes to show you the compounding effect of just continually putting out content. But we'll break that down later tonight. In another amazing way of putting yourself out there and seeing what can happen, I did a video back in December. It was one of my first videos, or a couple in. It was for a woman called Willetta from Bethel's Kitchen. So she's in Drumore. She's this lovely American woman here. And we went down, filmed a quick video, learned about her business. I saw the passion. I saw what she was putting into it. She wakes up at like 2 a.m., goes into work for 4 a.m., works till like 2 p.m., does that every day. And it was one of the most amazing stories ever. Put the video up and didn't really expect much. Got 100,000 views in the first like 24 hours. Got picked up by like Newsletter, Belfast Live, Irish News. And she went from like the busiest day selling like 8 bagels to now hiring 4 new staff and also moving into a new premises, which is just, this might just be to a degree a one-off, but it can show you what can happen whenever you do actually create content. And it's also a way of linking in what you do online through video, what you do online through social media in general, can actually link in to traditional media and work hand in hand. Like the embedding of that video on Irish News is just the TikTok. So they can take your TikTok and just embed it in. The way I look at it is you are only one video, one piece of content away from transforming your life or someone else's. And I've seen that happen multiple times. And there's some creators I know in the room today who've done what I've done, but on a much bigger scale. I've seen it and it's so inspiring. It's a real reason to keep going in itself. But that's enough about me. Hopefully that's enough to get you guys interested. We'll teach you a couple things about social media tonight. So online video. Does everyone recognize all these symbols here? Yeah? Anyone not? Too embarrassed to put your hand up maybe? I don't know. So these are like the main 4 platforms for online video. Does anyone use at least one of these in their job or their business? Yeah? I mean, I do, so hands up. Yeah? Like all good? So pretty much everyone, right? Anyone use more than one? So I do. I use everything except for Facebook. Yeah? So again, that's almost everyone. So everyone's familiar with the platforms. The way I see it is, and for context for tonight, on the left-hand side with TikTok, it's best for short form. The right-hand side is long form. And in the middle, you've got the copycats who kind of just tweak everything that everyone else is doing and play it off as their own. So Meta owns WhatsApp. WhatsApp has stories. Why do you need stories on WhatsApp? I've never once used that, apart from to mute them. So that's the kind of mix. And a question I get asked a lot is, do you need to be on all platforms? No, you don't need to be on all platforms at all. You have to pick what's right for you and your business or your job or the company you work for. But the biggest thing that's been talked about recently, especially in my circles, is TikTok. I've seen people getting millions of views on TikTok, transforming their lives on TikTok. Do you need to have a TikTok? And I have this flow chart, and if you want to take a picture of that while I'm talking about it, go for it. But basically, do you have the resources to take on a new platform? TikTok is not as simple as just signing up, creating a new account, and just, oh, I'm suddenly getting millions of views. It's not as simple as that. But if you have the capacity in your team, it is worth learning to start a TikTok. Okay, so you don't have that. So can you repost your existing content from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube to TikTok? So I can with Food Featured, and I do. And I post it like for like, and I'll tell you about the advantages of that later on. So if you can do that, it really just is as simple as working in that extra one little step to post it, and it could double your views on a certain video or unlock a new market because of the different algorithm. But if you can't, you don't need it yet. You may never need it, depending on what businesses. You could have financial services here, marketing, creative agencies. You might not need it ever, but for the most part, I'd be kind of keep it open and say you might not need it yet. In terms of what you don't need to get views online, again, you can take a picture of this. We'll come back to it later on, but it's in the list now on this one slide, so you can take a picture if you want. What you don't need to get views online, so you don't need hashtags. You don't need to post at a certain time. You don't need subtitles, like adding your own subtitles. You don't need to reply to comments, and you also don't need to stay within your niche. But we will come back to that later on. I think businesses and creators always talk about wanting to get more views. They want to go viral. It's an expectation to go viral to a degree these days. If you post a video and you get 1,000 views, you can feel a little bit deflated, like you've not done your job right. But it actually matters a lot less than you'd imagine. So I guess it begs the question, do you need to get millions of views online? There is a pressure for brands, creators, companies in general to get millions of views online. We see it in America, we see it in England, there's viral videos every day. You can probably think of a company right now off the top of your head that had a viral hit that suddenly started multiplying their revenue. Like there's a cookie company from Coleraine, they did those little TikTok viral ones. I see people nodding, yeah, that was because of TikTok, and now they're a lot bigger a company. So I suppose, is it important to get millions of views? No, it really isn't. You do not need millions of views. But surely, Matt, more views is more sales, is more money, and more luxury goods. It really is easy to get caught up in the fantasy where the number of views you see in America is millions of views, millions of pounds. Oh, I'm gonna get millions of views and suddenly become really rich. It's also the same fantasy world where Freddos don't require a mortgage. Like, as a side note, forget Gucci wallets and Bentleys. This right here is a status symbol in itself. And also, I've never seen Jeff Bezos with one, so 2-0? I don't know. Yeah, that. So then I guess if we're talking about metrics, data is so important. In my opinion, and from what I've seen, which we'll break down later on, views, likes, and followers are just vanity metrics for businesses. It's just like in a business, revenue is different than profit. It's a lot better to have profit than revenue. There's a difference. So like, jokes aside, it's great to have loads of followers because it's social proof. It's proof in general that you are a person that is worth following. If you had a coffee shop with like 100 followers or a makeup brand with 100 followers and one with 100,000 followers, they both posted the same content, which one are you trusting more? Which one are you buying from more? So I'm not saying they're not important. Generally speaking, they're just not the most important metric to focus on, because we can get caught up again in this fantasy world where if I get 1 million views, I will become crazy rich. But actually, what you don't want to be is this. So this is an actual article. So an Instagram star had 2 million followers and couldn't sell 36 t-shirts. Some people might have actually even seen this whenever it happened last year. You don't want to be in that position. Yes, it's great to have the 2 million followers, but if you can't convert it to sell for your business, then it's not performing for you. And this creator clearly has an audience. They've built it in some way, but they're just not monetizing it in the right way, or they had one big viral video, got people involved, they got fake followers. There's a mixture of different things, but it's more and more common. And I personally would rather have a small, engaged audience than a large one that doesn't care who I am. Because what one's gonna keep the lights on? Likes are great, but it's really selling products, selling your service, or if you work in a normal company, just making sure that you're playing your part within the wider team. You do really have to attract the right audience, because we talk about influencers these days, and it's a little bit of a taboo term, but to be an influencer or a creator with influence, you have to influence. You actually have to do something, and that's not just necessarily because of the amount of followers you have. Again, I'd rather have 10,000 dedicated followers who listen, they want to engage, they want to do what I do, than 100,000 who maybe saw one video I did and never engaged with me again. And attracting the right audience really comes down to like seeing who your target audience is and creating content that serves them, whether it's entertainment, whether it's informational. It doesn't really matter as long as you engage them. And that's what you really need them to do. You need them to switch on. Can anyone here remember the last 5 TikToks they scrolled past, or the last 5 posts they scrolled past? Even the people, their faces, their names. You probably can't. I definitely couldn't. And that's one thing that's really interesting, where it's almost an automatic reaction to double tap something these days, but you might not even remember what you've liked. It has to be relevant for the audience that you wish to acquire. And again, if anyone wants to take a picture of this, if you find it useful, the 2 metrics I'm most interested in, so I do track views, I do track likes, I do track followers. That shows that I'm hitting the algorithm with something that is useful, that is valuable. It shows I'm moving in the right direction as a whole. But when it comes to the metrics I actually wish to track, and have started tracking a lot deeper, saves indicate value. So if I see something on Instagram and I double tap it, it's either instinctive, or I go, cool, that's nice. But if I save that, it likely means I may never come back to it later, but at least I had the intention of thinking, I might come back to this later on. And then on the other side with shares, what we find is it shows relatability. So again, if I like a post, again, instinctive, or just I go, oh, that's cool, that's fine. Whereas if I see a coffee shop and I send it to a friend, that's me saying, let's go, or I'm interested enough to send it across to someone else. So I guess the reminder is you do not need millions of views. Succeeding in sales, marketing, or social media, it comes down to one thing, and that is just being the right product or service at the right time. Mercedes-Benz could target anyone here who's on like a 4-year car lease every day. If you're on a 4-year car lease, you're not buying for 4 years. It's just not the right time. Whereas whenever you're going to make a buying decision, Mercedes could be top of mind. So if you can get millions of views, cool. Like it's a good thing to have if you can get it. With the laws of probability, it increases your chance of converting, because if you're showing it to more people and you maintain the same 3-4% conversion rate, of course, someone could actually buy off the back of it. But I would rather focus in on concentrating what I'm doing. So yeah, you don't need millions of views, but here's how to get millions of views. There is a formula, so it's on the next slide. It's like a complex one. It's really complex. So I'll put it on the next slide, and you guys can take a picture just so you remember. It is complex. That's it. That's literally it. You just have to make great content and do it again. There is no other secret. And I would love to have come up with a secret that makes people go, damn, I've just got sorted. This is obvious to a degree, but I think so many people overlook it because they get distracted. There is no shortcut, and you really have to lead with value first. And your content can be informative, but it might not be engaging. You can be in a position of authority through educating people on your product or service, but if you're not hitting them with the content they actually want to see, you're not going to engage them properly. So you have to capture the attention. So again, a question I get asked all the time is, so what's great content? What I watch is probably different than you guys and vice versa. Someone might love watching certain types of TikToks. Some people might love business TikToks. Some people might not. So what I enjoy might be different than you. But don't worry, because the platforms will tell you what's good content. Has anyone here ever had a video go live, and I have, that has only got 200 views, 300 views, something like that? Put your hands up. There's no shame. It's very common. That's called TikTok jail or Instagram jail. It's where the algorithm decides that your content's not good enough. It does it to a test audience of 200-300 people, and it decides this is not worth sharing wider. And it's harsh to say, but the video just wasn't good enough. So you'll notice whenever you start doing more videos, if you get one that breaks 1,000, 2,000, it puts you on the right trend and shows you, okay, this might be a concept worth exploring more. I'll show some analytics from some of my accounts. So this is what a week of going viral looks like. So this was back in like September last year. This is 28 days, but this 1.1 million views is over 4 days, and it was a huge spike. And what this doesn't actually show afterwards, that goes straight back down to almost zero. I had an almost perfect concept. I had an idea that worked for 3 or 4 videos, and I nailed that, got the views off it, gained something like 6,000 followers in just a couple of days, doubled the account, but it fell off. So it showed I was almost there. Whereas now with Food Featured, it's much more consistent. So there's like January to February, 1.7 million views. There's March to April, 1.4 million views. Everything's very consistent. The spikes here are just the days I upload, and some are higher than others because some videos just naturally do better. Some food places are more interesting. It's things like that. But as you can see in this month here, and my analytics for the past month beyond this would be similar, but it is a lot more consistent as the page has found its footing. It's found what is valuable to the audience, and I've really leaned into that. Again, I would rather get 50,000 views a video than 1 million and then 1,000. I don't know about you guys, but that's what I would prefer, because it shows I'm doing something consistently. Because saturation is a myth. Anyone who tells you it's too late to start anything is lying, or they just don't get it, or they don't want you to be involved. Because I'm not the first to make food content in Northern Ireland. I won't be the last. In terms of businesses, there's always a new idea, a new person, a new song. Old trends come back. It's never too late to get started in what you can do. So now that we've kind of done that, I think it's useful to, after saying the context, to debunk some of the video myths. So I'm going to break down a couple of video myths that are really common online that I have data for and I've checked with other creators to show this is what we've seen. So I'm not saying this is the be-all and end-all, but there's enough data here to prove that what I'm about to say is at least somewhat relevant in like my circles. So the first one is hashtags. So you don't actually need hashtags. You really don't. These are 3 random videos that have like easily over 1 million views each. Not a single one has hashtags on it. And I could have kept going and kept going and kept going way beyond that, okay? Food Featured has never and will never use a hashtag. There's no need. But they can help. They can help. I mean, depending on your type of content, you could find it useful to have hashtags so that people can kind of click into those and find content. But in my opinion, it's not 2013 anymore. The last time that was a popular thing was Twitter, not X. It was called Twitter back then. And also Instagram had that. Now, the biggest search engines in the world are YouTube, eBay, Amazon, TikTok. Anyone here search for food? There's food places as an example on TikTok. Hey, Seb, nice to join us. Anyone here searched on TikTok for food places? Yeah? I would personally, and I might be biased because I use TikTok a lot, but I would search for food places on TikTok before Googling them. I might check their reviews on Google, but my first search is TikTok or it's Instagram. So really, the best thing you can do is ensure that you've got your right keywords in your posts, whether it's educational content or location-based content. I will always make sure the Food Featured has the name of the business, the location. You don't have to use those two, they're specific to me, but it could be the topic you're talking about. Put some SEO into your actual post, and then whenever people search, they can come across your post. So if you look up like NI Food, Belfast Food, or a specific food place I've done, I'll probably be on like the first page of that. So that's just a really simple thing you can do. Next, you don't need to post at certain times. When a video gets traction, I mean, back in the day, you used to just post to your audience, and that was it. So if you had 1,000 followers, you'd hopefully hit that 1,000 followers. And if you posted at the right time they were on the Instagram, you'd get as many people as possible. As organic reach has fallen over time and the algorithms have risen, you can find accounts with 1,000 followers hitting 1 million views every time. And it's because they gain traction over a certain amount of time. So this is one of my actual videos. So day 1, it had 0 views, and obviously gained a little bit. Day 2, it got 32,000 views. And then literally 3 days later, in one single day, it got 195,000 views. So if I deleted that the first day and went, it's not good enough, I would have missed out on that massive spike. Obviously it drops off afterwards, but a video serves its purpose whenever it needs to. So it'll pick them up and drop them. But again, it can help. There's a theme form in here, it can help. And the main reason is, if you understand how it works, you can maximize it for yourself. So if anyone here likes posting at certain times or works certain working hours, or has those kind of boundaries, which is perfect, you can make sure to make it work for your schedule. So Food Featured, I post at 8 a.m. on a Monday and Thursday. I'll switch it sometimes if I need to, depending on the videos and what we're putting out. But I find it's just something that works for me, because then I can get that out of the way and get my day underway after that. My analytics are showing me my followers are mostly online at 6 p.m. like throughout the day. So I tested a couple of videos at 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. It made no difference, because what happens is you post it in the morning, there's people on in the morning, there's people on at lunchtime, and then they finish work and they're on social again. They check social multiple times a day. So with that in mind, post it in the morning if it works for you, post it at lunchtime if it works for you. It'll be sitting there ready with some views already, some social proof ready to go for whenever the biggest part of your audience goes onto it. I'd also say anyone here who's got like maybe a couple of 100,000 views, if you checked your analytics, you probably find the same rough times. It literally just goes up past 6 p.m. I don't think anyone's maybe got an audience here that would be morning first. I think every human roughly follows somewhat of the same path. Next, you don't need subtitles. Again, really quickly, 3 random videos from the For You page. None of them have subtitles, just the auto-generated ones. And again, it shows that the importance of, not just for disability and accessibility, but the platforms see the value of subtitles to the point where they'll put them on automatically. So you don't need them. You don't need to put them on. You don't need an app. You don't need a website to put them on for you. But theme forming, they can help. The built-in ones are inaccurate. They're ugly. They might not mix with your brand aesthetic. Those are maybe silly things to some people, but whenever you're talking about a video succeeding and capturing attention, it has to have a vibe. It has a feeling. It has a magic. Some of your most favorite videos from new creators or people you've never seen before, I don't even think you could describe what you like about the video. You just look at it and go, that works. And if you really thought about it and broke it down, the music, the colors, the subtitles, everything is so carefully crafted, and that creator has done their job right. If anyone wants to add them, there's apps you can buy. Like, they're really easy. Like, those really fancy subtitles that pop up, it's like £10 a month on like iPhone. The app's called Captions. Obviously, the guys in the boardroom for there were like out of creativity that day. Just, we'll call it Captions. But it works perfectly, and I use it sometimes. Does anyone here watch TikTok or Instagram with their sound off? Yeah, I mean, I do. Come on, guys, like, put your hands up, yeah? So whenever you create a video with built-in subtitles, not only are you helping your own brand aesthetic, but also you're helping people like me and you who watch with the sound off. And the benefits of that are increased retention, as people can follow along more. It's not as good as having the sound on. So if you can give them as much of that as possible, you're also helping increase the watch time as a result of that. And then you can increase your position in the algorithm depending on how far someone watches through. Next, do you need to reply to comments? No, you do not need to reply to comments, and there's two main things behind that. One, people I know in my circles who have like hundreds of millions of views, they can't reply to comments because there's too many. They don't have the time, or they're too busy, or they used to and then the videos got too big. Also, sometimes you don't want to check the comments. Has anyone here ever got hate online? Like I do, like all the time. Yeah, like any creators in here? Yeah, exactly. So it's just one of those things. You put yourself out there, you're opening yourself up to criticism, and whenever someone's hiding behind usually it's a username like user54 blah 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 blah, no profile picture, or one I had recently is a picture of like Naomi Long holding something. It was some weird username. It was really specific. Like, it's obviously just someone in their basement who's planning to hate on you just because they can. Like, the people who want to bring you up and rise with you, they're not spending their day hating, they're spending their day supporting or liking or sharing. So to be fair, you might not want to check your comments, and luckily you don't have to. If you don't want to check your comments, that's fine. And if you work for a brand or you work for a company, it might be your policy not to check comments, or you might have to go through someone for approval to reply. Might not be worth it for you, but trend forming here. It can help. I mean, people are taking the time out of their day to reply. So if people give you nice comments and help and encourage, reply to them. You know, it's nice to feed that. It also adds social proof, because if you have a comment section that's full of replies and comments and has conversations, you're more likely to get other people also engaging in the conversation. And for anyone who does reply to comments as part of their job or their business, one thing I would say is a good hack is reply to the comment with a question. Find something you can ask them, whether it's to do with their comment or slightly wider, and you can turn one comment into three, because you can say, instead of just going, thank you very much, that's 1, 2. You say, what's your favorite part of our business? Or like, what can I help you with today? Or something like that. They reply again, and then you can maybe turn it into 4 if you reply. It's really simple stuff, but whenever you're trying to grow the page and you don't have hundreds of people just commenting because you're that big or that important, you have to foster that and force it, and it's really, really tiny things. Then lastly, from the myths, this one's great for businesses, and this is a business in itself. So do you have to stay within your niche? So anyone here maybe like financial services, creative agencies, recruitment companies, like the temptation would be that you have to create content that's like, here's the services we offer as an agency. This company right here is a vet recruitment company. They pop up on my TikTok all the time. Some of you guys you might even recognize these people. They show like what they eat for lunch, pronunciation challenges. It's almost like viral trend type stuff. That might not be relevant to everyone in this room, but I see their stuff and I go, that looks like a nice place to work. They look like friendly people. I have no idea the quality of their work. It could be terrible, but I feel part of their story, part of their journey. And I don't need vet recruitment services, but if I did, I would at least consider them if I kept seeing them. And it goes back to the point, you have to be the right product or service at the right time to the right people, and being present and being on their feed is a fantastic way to do that. It does sound silly. The guy on the right here, it always has comments from people saying, oh, we didn't eat the usual thing for lunch today. That maybe sounds so silly to people just looking at it, but that business has fostered a relationship without realizing with that person who works there. And he doesn't own the company, he's just an employee, and it's a great way to make people feel involved, and I'm sure they have some good crack whenever they're actually filming these videos too. But like, you know where this is going. There's a theme forming, the usual stuff. Nah, you really don't. Like, don't stay within your niche. I actually challenge people in the audience here, go outside your niche. For the next 30 days when you're making content, keep your core strategy for like 90% of your content, And the last 10%, do something different. Go slightly outside of your niche. There's no harm in doing that. It's not going to alienate your audience. You're always pandering to some degree to the algorithm. So that's how I challenge you. And then to kind of bring us to the end here, there's some video tips, secrets, and strategies. So these are things, like I said at the start, that I have done. I've been involved in. I've been making a lot of videos, hundreds and hundreds of videos the past 3 years. And I'm hoping at this point I've kind of shown you the importance of content, why you want to keep creating, what can happen if you keep creating. So I think I'll start with a really positive note. Like, no one cares about you. Like, no one. And that's really harsh to say, but no one does. And we're in an attention deficit era where everyone is just constantly scrolling. People talk about the hook. Anyone ever heard about the hook when it comes to social? Like, yeah, let's put hands up. Exactly, a pretty common thing. People and all these gurus online are like, you need to hook people. That's great 4 years ago. Like, that was important 4 years ago to go, oh, okay, we got people scrolling on a feed now instead of going on the YouTube. Let's adapt how we do things. Oh, here's 4 things you'll learn in this video. Okay, you've stopped me, and then you're fucking boring. So I'm gonna scroll straight past you, do you know what I mean? So you have to go right beyond that. Random people just don't care about you. They don't care about your business. When you're established, has anyone ever seen a creator that does like really basic things? Like they just go about their day and get a coffee. And you go, how's that got 1 million views? Because people care about that person. If I went and got a coffee, no one would care. So that's fine. So you have to make them care. So how can we do that? Again, any of these things, you can take pictures and whatever if you want, if it's helpful. So what you want to avoid is generic intros. Hi guys, that's a second wasted. It sounds really silly. That's a full second wasted. Of course, if you have like a nice smile and you capture them in the right way, you might capture a couple of people, but avoid that. Do not ramble endlessly like I've done tonight. And you have to make sure you do not end the video abruptly. Think about movies, think about TV shows. Yes, they can have amazing, fancy, great effects, but some of the greatest films of all time, greatest TV shows of all time, just have great actors telling a fantastic story. And if we can work backwards from the magic of TV and movies, we can apply those principles to our content. So tell people what to expect. We need a hero in it. We need something that's going to be accomplished. Provide a well-paced story and give a payoff. So again, this is where this is just generic advice. For people who run different companies here, you'll have to like go off and think and see how can you do that. But whenever you actually stop, even for like 10 minutes one day before you do some content, if you even apply something in and amongst that to your content, even if you're making financial services content, that is how you amplify what you do. Because back 4 years ago, we were saying, how do we get people to stop scrolling? We know how to get people to stop scrolling now, but how do we get people to keep watching the video? That watch time is super, super important. And if you look, anyone who's got a video with like loads of views, look at the retention chart. You'll have a high percentage watch time. You'll have people who are following through. And if you use TikTok, you can see when they like the video. You can see and you can learn. Next, there is actually an optimal video length. This isn't going to be a joke or a punchline. It genuinely is. There is an optimal video length. And people argue between like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, a minute. TikTok's pushing loads of 1 minute plus videos these days. The actual truth is, it's as short as possible, but as long as it needs to be. These are both correct if they're telling the story in the right way. You have to have the hook, the main content, and the payoff. And if these videos both do that, if your video needs it to be 1.5 minutes to give exactly what you want to accomplish from it, then that's fine. But if it only happens over 10 seconds, you drawing it out further just to make it a minute or because you feel like you have to, it's going to reduce the reach for you. So for Food Featured, for example, if a place has a really extensive menu, it's interesting, it looks cool, what I'll do is I can make it up to 45 seconds or whatever it so happens to be. For one-dimensional places, I pull it back to about 10, 15 seconds. I adapt the content based on what I personally feel. Like watch your content back afterwards. That sounds so basic, but whenever you're editing and you're emotionally involved and you're going, that was a great day, it looks good, I'm feeling this, and you upload it and it flops, you feel so disappointed off the back of that. Whereas what I found really works, if you have the time, timeline-wise, I'll make a video, leave it overnight, watch it in the morning, and if I go, that's class, then I know it's gonna do well. Like I've done enough videos to know if I'm happy with it the next day, or I show it to like my mom or a friend, just a random person not involved with it, if they go, whoa, I go there, that's exactly it. Like my mom would be like pescatarian. I showed her like a meat place. She's like, that looks class. That's how I know that someone who's not even interested in it thought it looks good. So imagine people who are interested in it. That's exactly how I approach it. Next, how to get extra engagement. So engagement is the lifeblood of content, of videos, of social media in general. If no one's talking to you, about you, you're not doing the right stuff. I wouldn't engage people to try to get bad press, but there's no such thing as bad press. A place I did today, they charged like £13 a toasty, and they're a bit nervous about people talking about that. I leaned into it with the hook and with the video and did a poll just out of curiosity, and the majority of people said they would buy it. There's always a customer. There's always a way to find someone who wants what you have. You just have to bring it to them. So Instagram themselves say early engagement leads to more reach. So this was the other day. I just uploaded a video, and they said early comments in the first 4 hours, early engagement can lead to more reach. So that's really important. So with that in mind, there's a way to do it, an engagement hack. You can take your pick. So I don't know, it's probably not even worth taking a picture of really, but the first way you can go relies on the best of human nature. So whenever you post a video, share it to someone who might be interested in it. If you have a mailing list of customers, send it to them. Say you might enjoy this. Send it to friends, family. Again, early engagement comments can get the comment section going, a couple likes. Whenever someone random comes across it, it can feel so much more alive, a post. Or you can rely on the worst of human nature and call a bagel a bagel and literally watch everyone light up in the comments hating on everything you do. There was a visual effects artist, he worked on some of the top movies in the world, like Transformers and things like that with really heavy visual effects. And he does TikToks where he'll edit in weird objects to a video. So he did a skateboard video, and he purposely put the shadow the wrong way. So whenever the skateboard landed, it was left instead of right. And all these people were in the comments being like, you did that wrong. They were correcting him, going, finally, the Hollywood mastermind has been defeated by the guy who's commenting on TikTok. But they fell right into his trap. That was exactly what he wanted, because you can't just, for people in this room, you can't just go, oh, I'll pronounce words wrong, because it might affect your professional credits. So what he did was, he kept his professional credits by going, I'm gonna literally just switch something so subtle, only the experts will know what I've done wrong. They comment trying to correct him. All he has to do is put a video reply up and be like, you fell for it, and he gets double the views. I've seen that happen. Another method I tested out recently, maybe over the last 7 or 8 videos, this sounds really simple, but if you want extra engagement, ask for it. So in my videos, I now end them with, if the food looked good, leave a like and drop us a follow for more. That's it, right? I've been looking at the analytics on TikTok, and I'm talking over 2 million views worth of data, and it spikes about 7% at the end of the video. So that's 7% of people who might not have liked the video because it's at the very end, so they're most engaged, they're proven that the content works for them, they're that far into the video. Simple ask. So it depends what type of content you're making, but I think there's a way to implement something similar to that in every video, just a gentle ask for people at the end who are super engaged with the content. Next, a very, very, very good idea is to remake your popular videos. So this here, one is 653K, one is 532K. Which one do you think came first? Well, it got more views the second time, weirdly. So I uploaded this video, and it did pretty well. I didn't expect it to get so many views. It's 10 seconds long. And then about a month later, I was looking for content, didn't have any content. I went, okay, this did well. I'll look at the analytics and see maybe I can improve something. And I saw some drop off about 3 seconds in. So I cut that part of the video. I literally cut half a second, re-uploaded it, same music and stuff, the exact same thing, same commentary. It was just the same video in CapCut I cut the middle out of, and it got a total of 1 million views. I didn't have to reshoot. I didn't have to do any extra thinking apart from going, I'm gonna cut a second or half a second off that. So if you have a popular video or a popular series, find ways to break it down, pull it across, do something that makes it different, and you can repurpose it. And then as well, like I've been saying the whole time, the theme here is learn from your videos. So Instagram would have a pretty lackluster kind of analytics system. TikTok and YouTube, fantastic. They're tracking this data for a reason, and they give it to you. So TikTok can literally break down Exactly, this is what I'm talking about with the likes. You can view in real time with the video exactly when you get your most likes. When there's spikes, you can see the retention, when people drop off. If you looked at this, every time you did a video for even a minute and just saw, especially if you do similar types of content or similar structures, learn about what works, see where people are dropping off. If you had someone maybe a couple of seconds in the video and it lingers just a little bit too long, if you see a drop off, that could potentially be the reason for that drop off. There's no better way to improve what you do than to look back at what you've done previously. And then I suppose the last tip I give really is never delete your videos. And again, that sounds so basic. I wouldn't delete my videos. Well, if you've ever posted a video, again, you're emotionally involved. It really is something you were so proud of and it got like 100 views. You might delete it. You might get rid of it and go, you know what, that never existed. I didn't do that. And it might be a pride thing, it might be an ego thing, or you might just go, F that, I'm not doing that again. But I'll prove why you should never delete videos here with an actual screenshot from one of my TikTok videos. Genuinely, 1, 2, 3, 5 days, we're at 100 views. That's 500 views in the first 5 days. I could have deleted that. I genuinely was close to deleting that because it just performed so badly. And then it spiked to 145,000 in a day. That's literally how simple these algorithm things can work. I actually almost didn't do TikTok. I started TikTok and got results like this and went, I'm deleting this. There's no point. I'm not a believer in TikTok. I'm not going to do it. You know what? It just doesn't work for my content. And then I started seeing stuff like that. And I went, okay, this to be fair, does actually work. So the secret is to just keep experimenting, keep trying, keep putting things up, and just let it do its thing. Take pride and ego aside if you can, whenever you're really expecting a video to go like viral, and just know that sometimes it just doesn't work like that and that you have to keep pushing on. Because if I'd deleted my TikTok or like the videos like in these first 5 days of being posted, I would have like 5 million less views. It's like 50+% of my total views now. There's videos on my TikTok now that perform 5 times better than the Instagram with no push. It's just pure algorithm. So that's what I'd say to yourselves. Just make sure that you look beyond what the initial feeling is whenever a video doesn't do too well. So you can keep your hard questions to yourselves, and no, that's everything. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate that.